Hi everyone, I hope you're having a great day and I hope you had a great weekend. Well, this week's going to be focused really on stress. Everyone's always asking, how do I reduce stress? How can I, minimize the impact of stress in my life? But first, we're going to start off with part one today, where we talk about how stress makes you fat, sick, and depressed. When you understand this, whenever you're trying to solve a problem in life, you want to understand how things work. You can't solve a problem in your business if you don't understand the dynamics of business. You can't solve a problem in your career if you don't understand how things work. The same thing with the human body. Okay, everyone thinks it's a problem with diet. Everyone thinks it's a problem with exercise. So people chase more fat diets, more intensive exercising, but they never get their results. They get short-term results. Today we're going to understand that why stress, and you would think, but then why hasn't anyone told us about this? Why isn't there too much of research about stress? Because there's no money to be made. You need to understand that. There are no pills. You can get psychiatric drugs. You can take recreational drugs to, minimize your stress for that period of time. But there's no profit in investing or researching things that can reduce stress. Because a lot of industries around us will probably go bankrupt if people were not living with stress anymore. A lot of them, right? From the food industries to the farmers to a lot of industries would just collapse if there was no stress in the world, or if people learned how to manage their stress. So let's understand, how does stress make us fat? When I look at my data, of cases over the years, it's almost 87 to 89% of the cases we have, ranging from cancer to diabetes to alopecia, you name the condition, that has one underlying cause of stress. These 87 to 89% of patients have immense stress in their life. Now, when we look at the healing and recovery of these patients, the patients who have been able to learn to deal with their stress, learn to manage with their stress, they get way, way, way better. Okay, what we need to understand is everyone has stress in this world, every single person. I'm not here to tell you to get rid of stress. I'm here to tell you it's important that you learn how to manage your stress better. We all have stress. If it affects you, it affects every aspect of the human body, and you're going to understand how that works. A lot of us have hormones. Everyone has hormones. Hormones are chemical messengers. So when you think about estrogen, you look at testosterone, you look at progesterone, you look at prolactin, you look at adrenaline, you look at cortisol, you look at insulin, you look at thyroxine. All of these are hormones. Hormones are chemical messengers that communicate with the cells, telling your body what they should do at the right time. So your hormones are either communicating the right way, and you're living a healthy life, your hair is growing well, your metabolism is good, you're burning fat, your blood sugar levels are in control, your heart rate is in control, your TSH is well in all of your reports. You have the right communication. You have the wrong communication between these hormones. You can have anything from diabetes. We know that because your insulin levels are all over the place, or you don't even have enough of insulin, or your insulin is unable to work the right way. It's a hormonal problem. You may see it as diabetes, but it is a condition that involves your hormones. So if you don't treat and try to balance out your hormones in the body, your diabetes is never going to get better. The same thing with thyroid problems. Okay, it's called a thyroid problem, but it is an issue with hormonal imbalance. You're either producing too much TSH or too little of it. So you got to address the root cause of your thyroid problem, which is a hormonal imbalance problem. Okay, and then we have endometriosis in women, we have breast cancers, we have issues with men, prostate, which involves testosterone, you have fat gain in your stomach area. No matter how much you diet, how much you exercise, you never lose your belly fat. Men, they'll put on muscle on their chest, their arms, everywhere, but they still have a pot belly. Issue with the testosterone. Hormonal issues are the underlying cause of everything that you're trying to do in life to get better with, including lifestyle. So now your diet and your exercise is useless if you have poor hormonal health. Okay, now let's break it down. Okay, this communication is controlled by hormones in the human body. Let's understand how stress works. I mentioned adrenaline and cortisol are also hormones. Okay, now when we get stressed, understand what's happening in the human body. If you get stressed right now, your cortisol increases, your adrenaline increases. Two hormones communicate with the body that there is stress. It doesn't know what kind of stress you're going through, but it prepares you for the sympathetic nervous system, which is fight and flight. For that, blood will start rushing to your muscles. your blood rate will go up, your blood pressure will go up, your blood sugar levels will go up, your cholesterol levels will also start fluctuating, your digestive system will shut, because when you're in the fight and flight mode, your body stops breaking down food. Okay, so your digestive system literally shuts down, preparing you for fight and flight. Okay, it's perfect. The stress is over, your cortisol comes down, adrenaline comes down, and everything resumes normalcy. That's absolutely fine. That is called acute stress. Your stress levels go up and it comes down. The problem is with chronic stress. When your stress levels go up and they stay up. So, you know, when you're going through emotional issues, you're constantly thinking about it all the time, you're in a job that you don't like, you're facing uncertainty, you constantly watch bad news which you can't handle, your cortisol and adrenaline is constantly up. So your norepinephrine falls. When that falls, your serotonin and your dopamine falls. These are neurotransmitters spiraling you more and more into negativity and depression. So now you don't just have a hormonal imbalance, but you have an imbalance in your neurotransmitters, which are meant to keep you happy, feeling pleasure, and feeling good. So you see, with just that cortisol and adrenaline high and floating around in your bloodstream, every other aspect of the human body is compromised. Progesterone falls, estrogen goes up. That's the worst thing if you have an ER-positive breast cancer, if you have an ovarian cancer, if you have endometriosis, or for that matter, any kind of cancer. We don't want too much of estrogen. In a man, okay, when you're stressed out, your testosterone falls. So you start losing muscle mass, your bones start getting weaker, you start putting on more and more belly fat, no matter how much you diet and how much you exercise. If you are chronically stressed, all of these things happen. When all of your hormones get impacted, like in a woman or a man, when your prolactin levels go high due to stress, your immune system falls right down. So you see, this is how stress makes us sick and stress makes us fat. You have to understand the impact with hormones, okay? And what impacts your hormones? The quality of your sleep. If you're sleep deprived the next day, you have two hormones called leptin and ghrelin. Leptin and ghrelin. Ghrelin makes you feel more hungry. So you have carb cravings, you have sugar cravings, you have caffeine cravings, and leptin is the hormone that makes you feel full. When you're sleep deprived, you never feel full. So you go on eating more and more, you get fat, you get sick, and you cause more hormonal imbalance. So your sleep impacts your hormones, your exercise. If you're too sedentary, poor hormonal health. If you overtrain, you punish your body with too much of exercise. Guess what? You move into the sympathetic nervous system and all of your hormones are in fluctuation and imbalance. So overtraining without recovery and rest is also the worst thing for your hormones and everything else. And then you have your stress levels, your day-to-day stress. So the thing is, you have a parasympathetic nervous system which is rest and digest. When we're calm, everything is good. We're in the parasympathetic nervous system where your blood sugar levels, your blood pressure levels, your hormones are all in harmony and balanced with each other. They move out of balance when we move into the sympathetic nervous system. So the question that you need to ask yourself is, how often are you in the sympathetic nervous system? You know, our bodies are designed for stress, acute stress. You move into stress, fight, flight, and it comes down. It won't harm you. In fact, that can boost your immune system. But when it's chronic, you now understood what is happening in your body. So do you think your diabetes and your thyroid problem is ever going to get better? Okay, you can be on the best medication. You can be on the best diet. You can have the best team of doctors and nutritionists around you. But if you're unable to progress with reducing stress in your life, you're not going to get better. In fact, a lot of people who have diabetes and thyroid, it is caused by stress because of the constant fluctuation of adrenaline and cortisol, thyroxine, insulin, prolactin, testosterone, and everything else. So yes, most of your diseases that you have today are caused by stress. When the medical world doesn't know what has caused your disease, they blame it on your genes. Yes, it is true. There are many diseases that are caused because of your genes, but most of them are lies. Most of them are speculations and assumptions. So when you're told that it's because of your genes, now no one knows what to do. So you don't change your lifestyle and you continue to accept that you cannot get better. But let me tell you right now, your gene expression is also caused because of hormonal fluctuation and chronic stress. Today, science and medicine is showing us how when you're in a stressful environment, your gene expression can change. What that means is the good genes can be turned off and the nasty genes can be turned on. And that is what epigenetics is. Epigenetics. Epi means environment. Your genes are controlled by your environment. You're in the right environment, Your genes function beautifully. You're in the wrong environment, created by stress and everything around you and inside of you. Your gene expression can change. Your genes can manifest and turn on the bad genes into the deadliest of diseases. So you got to stop believing about all this hereditary stuff. It is true for a very small percentage of cases, but you got to see what has changed your genes and allowed them to express into alopecia, into cancer, into Alzheimer's, and all of these things. So when the medical world doesn't know, they blame it on the genes. But now you know that chronic stress has the ability to change your gene expression, which leaves you with a lot of stuff that you can do to take control of your own life. So we're going to get into solution mode tomorrow, how we can manage stress. Yes, there's meditation. Yes, there's prayer. We know all of those things. But over and above that, what else is it that we can do every single day? I'm not saying it will wipe away your problems, but it will change you as a person, which means today if I have 10 problems that really upset me, after I start practicing this, I may still have 10 problems, but I've learned how to accept it. It doesn't trouble me anymore. It doesn't make me emotional anymore. It doesn't make me eat emotionally, behave emotionally, and everything changes in our lives because of that. There is always a way if we're willing to do it. Today, most people say, oh, everyone has stress. Just deal with it. No, you're not everyone. You want to be different. You want to be above average. You want to be vibrating above average, so you don't have to accept. You don't have to accept what the mediocre world is doing. You don't have to accept just because there's a problem. Oh, everyone's going to the problem. Let's jump onto the bandwagon and become a puppet and make that our problem as well. The most successful and strongest people look at it differently. If there's a problem, I don't have to be the person carrying this problem. I want to look at life differently. I want to think out of the box. I want to do things differently so I get different results. So you can choose to be a puppet. You can choose to jump on the bandwagon and become a sheep and follow everyone's direction. Or you can choose to say, I'm extraordinary, I'm spectacular, I'm different. And if I do different things and I put an effort with discipline and consistency, my entire life is going to change. Not just my health, my relationships, my work, my career, my personal growth. And the meaning of my life is going to change when I choose to do things above average and differently from what the world is telling you to do. So part 2 tomorrow on how we can manage stress and learn how not to allow stress to rob us of our health, joy, happiness, and life. Have a great day, everyone. Until next time, eat smart, move more, sleep right, and breathe deep.